The massive alien ship appeared without warning above Earth. It was bigger than anything humans had ever built, stretching across the sky like a metal moon. Captain Hyun stood at her post on Sanctuary 7, Earth's defense station, and watched the readings on her screen. Her hands remained steady as she pressed the communication button. "Unknown vessel, this is Earth Defense Station Sanctuary 7. Please identify yourself." The response came quickly, but not in words. A holographic image filled the command center. 23 different alien faces stared back at her. Some had scales, others had crystals growing from their skin, and a few looked like nothing she had ever imagined. The one in the center was tall and made of something that looked like living glass. It spoke in a voice that sounded like wind chimes. "I am Vexthar, Arbiter of the Galactic Council. We represent the ruling powers of this galaxy. We have come to address the human problem." Captain Hyun felt her crew tense around her, but she kept her voice calm. "Problem? We were not aware of any problem." "That is the problem," Vexthar replied. "You expand too quickly. You build too many weapons. You ask too many questions. You show no respect to those who have ruled the stars for thousands of years." Behind Vexthar, another alien spoke. This one looked like a massive wolf standing on two legs. "Humans are dangerous. We have watched you. You fight each other constantly. You nearly destroyed your own world multiple times. Now you bring that violence to the galaxy." Hyun wanted to argue, but years of military training kept her quiet. She listened as more aliens spoke, each adding to the list of complaints. Humans were too aggressive, too curious, too unpredictable, too willing to challenge old rules. Finally, Vexthar raised one crystal hand for silence. "The Council has made its decision. Humanity will surrender all military vessels. You will dismantle your weapons. You will submit to Council oversight. You will pay reparations for your aggressive expansion into space. You have 72 hours to comply." The hologram showed detailed lists of demands. They wanted every warship, every weapon, every defense station. They wanted humans to stop exploring, stop building colonies, stop growing. They wanted humanity to become small and harmless. "And if we refuse?" Hyun asked. Multiple aliens started talking at once, but Vexthar's voice cut through them all. "Refusal is not an option. We have brought 1 million warships. The combined military might of 23 civilizations. You have no choice but to accept." Captain Hyun looked at the tactical display. The alien fleet was massive, blocking out the stars. Each ship carried weapons that could destroy cities. Together, they could reduce Earth to dust in minutes. The smart choice was obvious. Surrender and survive. But Hyun did something unexpected. She smiled. It was not a big smile, just a small curve at the corner of her mouth. But several aliens noticed it. They whispered to each other in languages the translation systems could barely handle. "Captain Hyun to Ambassador Junho," she said calmly. "We have a situation that requires your expertise." Ambassador Junho appeared on Earth within the hour. He was a quiet man in his 50s, known for his patience and careful words. He listened to the recording of the Council's demands 3 times, making notes on his tablet. Then he did something that made his assistant nervous. He smiled too. "Set up a communication channel with the Council flagship," Junho said. "Let's respond to their generous offer." When the connection opened, Vexthar looked even more imposing on the large screen. Behind him, the 23 Council members watched with various expressions. Some looked angry. Some looked bored. All of them looked confident. Junho bowed slightly, a gesture of politeness. "Arbiter Vexthar, thank you for bringing these concerns to our attention. The human government will need time to discuss your proposals. We will respond within the 72-hour deadline." "There is nothing to discuss," Vexthar said. The light from his crystal body pulsed with irritation. "This is not a negotiation. This is a command." "Of course," Junho replied, still smiling. "We understand completely. Nevertheless, we must follow proper procedures. I am sure the Council appreciates the importance of proper procedures." Something about Junho's tone made the wolf-like alien lean forward. "You smile, human. Do you not understand your situation? We can destroy your entire species with a thought." "I understand perfectly," Junho said. His smile never wavered. "You have made your position very clear. Now, if you will excuse me, I have meetings to attend. We will be in touch." He ended the transmission before they could respond. On the Council flagship, confusion spread through the chamber. The insect-like alien called Clicks clicked its mandibles thoughtfully. Did that human just dismiss us? He smiled, another council member said. They are smiling. They should be terrified. They should be begging for mercy. What is wrong with them? Vexthar studied the empty screen where Junho's face had been. In his thousands of years, he had delivered ultimatums to hundreds of species. They always reacted the same way. Fear, then anger, then desperate attempts to negotiate, then finally acceptance. But humans did none of these things. They smiled and asked for time to think. Perhaps they are too primitive to understand, suggested a reptilian council member. Their civilization is young. They may not grasp the concept of overwhelming force. The wolf warrior Krath shook his massive head. No, I have studied human military history. They understand force very well, too well. They have been at war with each other for their entire existence. They know exactly what we are threatening. Then why do they smile? Asked a floating creature made of energy. Nobody had an answer. Back on Earth, Ambassador Junho walked into a secure conference room. Around the table sat the most important humans in the system. Admiral Taeyang commanded the military. Director Minji controlled intelligence operations. Chief Engineer Jinwoo oversaw technology development. President Yuna led the civilian government. And Dr. Sora, the brilliant scientist who had changed everything. Well, President Yuna asked. Junho sat down, his smile growing wider. They took the bait. Every single ship all in one place, just like we hoped. Admiral Taeyang pulled up tactical displays. Phoenix platforms are ready. We can activate them on your order. Not yet, Junho said. Let them think we are considering surrender. Let them grow more confident. The more certain they are of victory, the greater their shock will be. Dr. Sora laughed quietly. I almost feel bad for them. They have no idea what is coming. They gave us 72 hours, Director Minji said. When should we respond? Hunyo thought for a moment, at the 48-hour mark. Let them wait. Let them wonder. And when we finally answer, we will do it properly. President Yuna nodded. And what will that answer be? The same thing we have always told those who threaten us, Admiral Taeyang said. Thank you, but no. Outside the conference room, Earth continued as if nothing had changed. People went to work. Children played in parks. The stock market remained stable. News reports mentioned the alien ultimatum, but there was no panic. No riots. No desperate evacuation attempts. On the council flagship, monitoring stations reported this strange calm to their superiors. The aliens could not understand it. A species facing extinction should be in chaos, but humans acted like they had nothing to worry about. Maybe they really are insane, one council member suggested. Vexithar did not think so. He had lived for 3,000 years and seen many species face their end. The humans were not acting like any of them. They were not brave or stupid or desperate. They were acting like people who knew something he did not. That thought bothered him more than he wanted to admit. The countdown continued. 72 hours became 60, then 50, then 48, and still humanity smiled. The alien council watched and waited. They expected Earth to fall apart. Every species did when faced with certain destruction. But Earth remained calm, and that calm confused them more with each passing hour. On Mars Colony 2, where 50,000 humans lived under protective domes, life continued normally. Construction crews worked on new habitats. Scientists studied ancient rock formations. Children attended school. When news of the Council's ultimatum reached them, the colony administrator sent a message back to Earth asking if they needed to evacuate. Earth's response was simple. No, stay where you are. Continue your work. The Council intercepted this message. Vexthar studied it carefully. They are not evacuating their colonies. Why would they leave their people exposed? Perhaps they believe we are bluffing, suggested Krath the wolf warrior. They think we will not actually attack. But that did not explain everything. The Council's monitoring systems tracked millions of human communications. Social media networks buzzed with activity but not with panic. Humans posted jokes about the situation. They made cartoon images of aliens. They shared old movies about alien invasions. Some even posted recipes for welcome dinners if the aliens decided to visit peacefully. They are laughing at us, one council member said, outraged. Clicks, the insect alien, tilted its triangular head. No, I think they are laughing at their own fear. It is a coping mechanism. But look deeper. Their military is not standing down, but they are not mobilizing for a desperate last stand either. This was true. Earth's warships remained at their normal patrol routes. Defense stations like Sanctuary 7 maintained standard operations. Admiral Taeyang had not ordered a general mobilization. Everything looked like a normal day in human space. What are they planning? Vexthar asked himself, but nobody heard him. In Earth's command center, buried deep under the mountains, Admiral Taeyang reviewed reports from every defense installation. His tactical officer, Commander Doyen, highlighted key information on the main screen. All Phoenix platforms are online and ready, Doyen said. They still register as mining stations and research posts on alien scans. The Council suspects nothing. Good. Taeyang moved to another display showing the enemy fleet. 1 million ships all gathered around Earth. It was the largest concentration of military power the galaxy had seen in centuries. Any normal species would be terrified. Keep monitoring their formations. I want to know if any ships break away from the main group. Director Minji entered the room carrying a tablet filled with intelligence reports. We have intercepted Council communications. They are arguing among themselves. Some want to attack immediately to teach us a lesson. Others want to wait and see if we surrender peacefully. Vexthar is keeping them in check, but his patience is running thin. Let it run thinner, Taeyang said with a cold smile. Every hour they wait is another hour we control the situation. Chief Engineer Jinwoo arrived next, looking tired but satisfied. Final checks are complete. Project Phoenix is ready for activation. All quantum links are stable. We can fire from any platform to any target instantly. Quantum-linked weapons, Minji said, shaking her head in amazement. I still cannot believe we pulled it off. The Council has been using the same weapon technology for 1,000 years. They never thought to combine quantum mechanics with weapons systems. They stopped innovating, Jinwoo said. When you rule everything, you stop trying to improve. We never had that luxury. We have always had to be smarter, faster, and more creative just to survive. Dr. Sora joined them, carrying a cup of coffee. She looked more relaxed than anyone else in the room. The AI infiltration is complete. We have been inside their networks for 3 weeks now. Every Council ship has our code buried deep in their systems. They scan for intrusions every day and find nothing. We are invisible to them, Taeyang nodded. When we activate, how long before they can regain control? If they figure out what we did? Maybe a week, but they would need to know what to look for. And our code rewrites itself every few hours. By the time they understand how we got in, we will be long gone. Sora sipped her coffee. We learned a lot from computer viruses. Humans have been fighting digital warfare since the 20th century. The Council has never faced anything like it. The 48-hour mark arrived. Ambassador Junho prepared for his second message to the Council. President Yuna reviewed his prepared statement and made a few small changes. You are sure about this? She asked him. Completely, Junho replied. They need to understand that we will not be bullied. But we also need to give them one last chance to back down peacefully. And if they refuse? Junho's smile returned. Then we show them why diplomacy is always preferable to war. The communication channel opened. This time, all 23 Council members were present. Vexthar stood at the center, his crystal body glowing with barely contained frustration. Ambassador Junho, your time is half expired. Has humanity made its decision? We have, Junho said calmly. We appreciate the Council's concern about our expansion. We understand that our rapid growth must seem alarming to civilizations that have controlled the galaxy for so long. However, after careful consideration, we must respectfully decline your offer. Silence filled the Council chamber. Then chaos erupted. Aliens shouted in dozens of languages. Translators struggled to keep up with the volume of angry voices. Vexthar's voice cut through the noise like a blade. You decline? You understand that we are offering you the chance to survive? The alternative is extinction. We understand perfectly, Junho said. But we cannot accept terms that would essentially end our civilization. Surrender of all weapons and technology would leave us helpless. History has taught us what happens to helpless people. We would rather stand and defend ourselves than kneel and hope for mercy. Krath leaned forward, his predator eyes fixed on Junho. You cannot defend yourselves. We have 1 million ships. You have barely 500. This is not courage. This is suicide, perhaps, Junho said. Or perhaps you do not have all the information. Would you like to reconsider your demands? We could discuss a peaceful arrangement that respects both human sovereignty and Council interests. There will be no negotiation, Vexthar's crystal body flashed with anger. Since you refuse to see reason, we will provide a demonstration of our power. Mars Colony 2 will be destroyed in 24 hours. 50,000 human lives will end. Perhaps then you will understand your situation. Junho's expression did not change. That would be unfortunate. Those are innocent civilians, scientists, engineers, families. They have done nothing to threaten you. Their existence threatens us, another council member said. Humans multiply too quickly. Humans learn too quickly. You are a cancer that must be cut out before it spreads. I see. Junho nodded slowly. Then you leave us no choice. We will prepare for your attack, but know this, you will regret this decision. Is that a threat? Vexthar demanded. No, Junho said softly. It is a promise. We will speak again soon. He ended the transmission. On the Council flagship, the aliens immediately began preparations for the attack on Mars. Battle plans were drawn up. Ships moved into position. Targeting solutions were calculated. The entire military might of the galaxy focused on one small human colony. But on Earth, Admiral Taeyang was not scrambling to defend Mars. He was not evacuating the colony. He was not preparing for a desperate counterattack. Instead, he sent a single encrypted message to Captain Hyun at Sanctuary 7. The message contained only 3 words. They took the bait. Hyun read the message and smiled. She had been in the military for 30 years. She had fought in the colony wars. She had commanded ships in the outer system conflicts. She had seen humanity at its best and worst, and she knew something the Council did not understand. Humans smiled when threatened because they had learned a secret. Fear was natural. Terror was expected. But the moment you surrendered to that fear, you had already lost. So humans smiled and kept fighting. They smiled and kept thinking. They smiled because hope was a weapon sharper than any blade. She opened a communication channel to the Mars colony. This is Captain Hyun, do not worry. Everything is proceeding according to plan. Admiral Taeyang sends his regards. The colony administrator, a woman named Yoonji, smiled back at her through the video link. We trust you. Do what needs to be done. In space, the Council fleet moved into position around Mars. 1 million warships against one defenseless colony. It seemed like an easy victory. But humans had learned long ago that things were rarely what they seemed. A small diplomatic shuttle left Earth and flew toward the Council flagship. Inside sat only one person, Ambassador Junho. He carried no weapons, no guards, no escorts. Just himself and a data pad containing information that would change everything. The Council watched the shuttle approach. Many thought it carried humanity's surrender documents. Others believed Junho was coming to beg for mercy. A few wondered if the shuttle was a bomb, but scans showed it was completely harmless. Let him board, Vexthar ordered. Let us hear what final words humanity has to offer. The shuttle docked. Yunyo stepped out wearing a simple suit and carrying his datapad. Council guards surrounded him immediately. They were tall creatures made of metal and stone, designed to intimidate. Yunyo walked past them without showing any fear. His slight smile remained in place. The council chamber was enormous. Yunyo had to walk a long distance from the door to the center, where the council members sat on elevated platforms. This was intentional. It made visitors feel small and powerless. But Junho walked with steady confidence, his footsteps echoing in the vast space. When he reached the center, there was no chair waiting for him. Another deliberate insult. He was expected to stand and look up at his judges. Yunyo simply clasped his hands behind his back and waited. Vexthar spoke first. Ambassador Junho, you have witnessed our military might. You know your colony on Mars will be destroyed in hours. Do you now understand the futility of resistance? I understand that you believe resistance is futile, Junho replied. But I think there has been a misunderstanding between our people. There is no misunderstanding, Krath growled. We are superior. You are inferior. This is simple fact, is it? Yunyo tilted his head thoughtfully. Tell me, when was the last time the council fought a real war? The question surprised them. Several council members looked at each other uncertainly. Finally, Clix answered, its mandibles clicking. There was the Unity conflict 800 years ago. Several species disagreed about territory. It was resolved through military action. 800 years, Junho repeated. And before that? The expansion wars, said a floating energy being. 1,000 years ago. We established the current borders of council space. So your last major conflict was 1,000 years ago, Junho said slowly. Your weapons are designed from strategies that old. Your tactics were written by commanders who have been dead for centuries. Your military exists more for ceremony than combat. Anger rippled through the council. Vexthar's crystalline body flashed with light. How dare you? We have maintained peace through strength for a millennium. Yes, you have maintained peace, Junho agreed. And that is admirable. But do you know what humanity was doing 1,000 years ago? We were fighting the Crusades. Religious wars that lasted centuries. And we did not stop there. We fought the 100 Years' War, the 30 Years' War, 2 world wars in the 20th century. The colony conflicts. We have been at war with ourselves almost continuously for 10,000 years. He pulled up his datapad and displayed images. Battles throughout human history. Weapons evolving from stones to nuclear bombs. Strategies adapting to new technologies. The endless cycle of conflict, innovation, and survival. Every generation of humans has known war, Junho continued. We nearly destroyed ourselves multiple times. Nuclear weapons almost ended us. Climate collapse nearly finished what war started. We learned to fight in ways you cannot imagine because we had to. Survival was never guaranteed. This just proves you are dangerous, another council member said. A violent species that cannot control itself. We learned to control ourselves, Junho corrected. That is why we united. That is why we stopped fighting each other. But we remember how to fight. We remember every lesson bought with blood. The council has forgotten war. Humanity never will. Vexthar stood, his towering form casting shadows across the chamber. Enough philosophy. You stand before overwhelming force. Words will not save you. No, but understanding might. Junho activated his datapad again. This time it showed technical specifications, energy readings, quantum signatures, mathematical formulas. When humanity achieved faster than light travel, we did not just copy your technology. We studied it. We understood it. We improved it. Dr. Sora's face appeared on the projection. She spoke calmly like a teacher explaining simple concepts. The council uses technology the way someone uses a tool. You know it works, but not really why it works. Humans needed to understand the why. We took your warp drives and discovered new physics. We examined your energy weapons and found better ways to focus power. We looked at your computers and realized you have never experienced true artificial intelligence. Confusion spread through the council. Clix leaned forward. What do you mean? Your computers are fast calculators, Sora explained. Ours think. They learn. They adapt. And they have been inside your systems for 3 weeks. The chamber erupted in alarm. Council members shouted for their security teams. Technical staff scrambled to scan their networks. But Junho kept talking, his voice cutting through the chaos. That is why we smile, council members. Not because we are ignorant or insane. We smile because we know something you do not. What? Vexthar demanded. What do you know? That you brought your entire fleet to Earth. 1 million ships. Every major military asset from 23 species. All in one place. Junho's smile widened. Thank you for that. Before anyone could respond, alarms began blaring throughout the flagship. Red lights flashed. Automated warnings announced critical system failures. A council admiral burst into the chamber, his scaled face showing panic. Arbiter! Every ship is reporting the same problem. Navigation is offline. Weapons are locked. Communications are jammed. We are completely paralyzed. Vexthar turned to Junho, understanding finally dawning in his ancient mind. What have you done? We gave you a choice, Junho said quietly. You could have left peacefully. You could have negotiated fairly. But you chose to threaten us with extinction. So now I will explain why humanity smiles when threatened. He pulled up new data on his pad. Images of installations throughout human space. Hundreds of structures that the council had dismissed as mining platforms and research stations. But now they were activating, and their true purpose was revealed. We call it Project Phoenix, Junho said. AI-controlled weapon platforms hidden throughout our territory. Each one capable of targeting multiple vessels simultaneously. Each one linked through quantum entanglement, allowing instant communication and firing solutions. We can strike anywhere, anytime, without warning. Chief Engineer Jinwoo's face appeared next to Dr. Sora's. Quantum-linked weapons are theoretical for most species. We made them practical. Your ships do not need to see us to be destroyed. We can fire through folded space. Distance is meaningless. Your numbers are meaningless, more alarms sounded. Reports came in from across the council fleet. Every ship had been painted by targeting lasers. Every critical system was highlighted. Every weak point was exposed. The message was clear. Humanity could destroy them all right now, but was choosing not to. "This is impossible," whispered one council member. "We have ruled the galaxy for thousands of years. How could a species that just achieved spaceflight defeat us?" "Because you stopped learning," Junho answered. "You became comfortable, safe. When you are the strongest power in the galaxy, you have no reason to innovate. But humanity has always been challenged, always threatened. We learned to adapt or die, and we became very good at adapting." Click spoke, its voice thoughtful despite the chaos. "You could have destroyed us when we first arrived. Why did you not?" For the first time, Junho's smile faded. His expression became serious, almost sad. "Because we learned another lesson from our bloody history. Victory at any cost is not victory. It is just more death. We have killed enough. We have destroyed enough. When we finally united as one species, we promised ourselves something. We would never start a war. We would never strike first. We would never become the monsters we used to be." He looked at each council member in turn. "You came here to conquer us, to take our freedom, to make us small and afraid. But we are not your enemy. We never were. All we wanted was to live peacefully and explore the stars. You made this conflict, not us." Vexthar sat back down slowly. His crystal form seemed to dim. For 3,000 years, he had been one of the most powerful beings in the galaxy. Now he felt very small and very old. "What happens now?" he asked. "That depends on you," Juno replied. "Admiral Taeyang has sent a message to your fleet. You can leave peacefully, and we will all pretend this was a diplomatic misunderstanding. Or you can try to fight with paralyzed ships and learn exactly how good humans are at war. The choice is yours." Before Vexthar could answer, new alarms sounded, but these were different. They came from the outer rim of Council space, far from Earth. A desperate transmission played in the chamber. "This is Threshkal Colony. We are under attack. Unknown vessels. They are not responding to hails. They are destroying everything. Please, someone help us." The transmission ended in static. Every being in the chamber froze. Threshkal was a council world on the outer rim. It was supposed to be safe, protected by council law and treaties, but something had just attacked it and no one knew what. The council stared at Junho's outstretched hand. In human culture, it meant an offer of peace, of partnership. But these aliens did not understand why he would offer anything when he held all the power. "You paralyze our fleet and then offer friendship?" Vexthar asked, confusion clear in his voice. "I offer you a choice," Junho said. "Our disagreement can wait. Right now, people are dying on Threshkal. We can argue about politics later, but first we should help them." More transmissions came from the outer rim. Other colonies reported seeing massive organic ships. They looked alive, covered in what seemed like scales or skin. They consumed everything: planets, stations, ships. They left nothing behind but empty space. Krath stood, his warrior instincts taking over. "We need to respond immediately. Send the fleet to—" He stopped, remembering. "We cannot send anything. Our ships are dead in space." "Not dead," Junho corrected. "Sleeping. We can wake them up." Admiral Taeyang's face appeared on the main display. He spoke directly to the council for the first time. "Release Phoenix lockdown protocols. Initiate friendly status for all council vessels. Authorization Taeyang 77 Blue." Throughout the council fleet, systems began coming back online. Navigation, weapons, communications, everything returned to normal function. It took 30 seconds. The council had been completely helpless for hours, and humanity released them in half a minute. "Why?" Vexthar asked. "Why give us back control?" "Because those colonists need help now," Taeyang said. "And because we are not your enemy no matter what you believed." Engineer Jinwoo is transmitting technical data about the Devourer vessels to all council ships. Our scans show weaknesses in their hulls. Dr. Sora has identified their energy signatures. We know how to fight them. On Sanctuary 7, Captain Hyun was already organizing evacuation ships. She opened communications to the council's nearest vessels. "This is Captain Hyun of Earth Defense. We have transport capacity for 50,000 refugees. Any council ships heading to Threshkal, we will provide escort and medical support." Commander Krath received her message on his battleship. He had expected many things from humans, but not this. Not immediate help after they had threatened Earth with destruction. He opened a channel back to her. "Captain Hyun, we underestimated your people. We thought you were dangerous. We were right, but not in the way we expected. We are all dangerous when threatened, Hyun replied. The question is what we do with that danger. We can fight beside you, Commander, if you are willing to fight beside us. Krath made a sound that might have been his species' version of laughter. It would be an honor. The Drell have fought for 1,000 years without worthy opponents. Perhaps humans will finally give us a challenge to be proud of. The combined fleet moved toward Threshkull, council ships and human vessels flying together. It happened so quickly that most council members were still trying to understand how their situation had changed so completely. Director Minji coordinated intelligence sharing between human and council systems. Information flowed both ways now. The council provided historical data about previous Devourer encounters from 1,100 years ago. Humanity provided advanced sensor readings and tactical analysis. The ancient records say the Devourers travel in swarms, Clix reported, reading from old archives. Each ship is controlled by a central hive mind. If we can destroy the core vessel, the others become confused and disorganized. Good, Admiral Taeyang said. He was now effectively commanding the entire operation. Not because anyone gave him authority, but because he was the only one actively making plans while the council was still in shock. We will use Phoenix platforms to create a defensive perimeter. Council ships will engage the swarm directly. When the core vessel reveals itself, we hit it with everything. The battle plan came together quickly. For the first time in 1,000 years, council species were working with someone who thought like a military strategist rather than a diplomat. Taeyang saw war as a problem to solve, not a ritual to perform. The fleet arrived at Threshkull to find devastation. 12 Devourer ships surrounded the planet. Each one was the size of a city, covered in organic armor that seemed to breathe. They were feeding on the planet's atmosphere, literally consuming air and converting it into more organic material for themselves. All ships, engage at will, Taeyang ordered. Human vessels activate Phoenix support. Council forces show them what 1,000 years of peace has been protecting. The battle began. Council ships had powerful weapons. Energy cannons that could vaporize asteroids. Missiles that bent space. Shields that could withstand tremendous force. But their tactics were old and predictable. They formed battle lines like armies from ancient Earth, trading shots in organized patterns. The Devourers did not fight that way. They swarmed. They adapted. They learned from each exchange and changed their approach. After the first few minutes, it was clear the council fleet was struggling. Then the human vessels arrived. They did not fly in neat formations. They scattered, using unpredictable patterns that made targeting difficult. They did not trade shots. They struck hard, then vanished, then struck again from a different angle. They coordinated through AI systems that processed battlefield data faster than any organic mind could think. This is how humans fight, Commander Doyon explained to confused council tacticians. We learned this in our wars. Against each other, we developed strategies that did not rely on superior force. We had to be clever, unpredictable, fast. The Phoenix platforms activated. They did not look dangerous, just simple stations floating in space. But when they fired, their quantum-linked weapons hit Devourer ships from impossible angles. Shots came from empty space, emerging from folded dimensions directly inside enemy shields. One Devourer vessel tried to retreat. A Phoenix platform fired. The quantum weapon appeared inside the ship's core and detonated. The entire vessel exploded from within. How did you do that? A council weapons officer asked in amazement. We asked a question your scientists never considered, Dr. Sora explained over the communication channel. Why fire at a target when you can fire through space directly to it? Quantum entanglement means distance does not exist. Point A and point B are the same location if you understand the physics correctly. The battle turned. Devourer ships began falling back. But they were learning too. They started targeting the Phoenix platforms. Their organic weapons adapted, firing biological projectiles that could track quantum signatures. They are faster learners than we expected, Jinwoo reported. We need to end this quickly before they figure out how to counter our weapons. Then we find their core, Taeyang said. All ships scan for the largest energy signature. The hive mind has to be broadcasting control signals. Find the source. Captain Hyun led a wing of fighters on a dangerous flight through the Devourer swarm. Her sensors picked up a massive signal coming from behind the planet. Found it. Core vessel is hiding in Threshkull's shadow. It is 3 times larger than the others. Can you mark it? Taeyang asked. Already done. Sending coordinates now. The Council fleet and human vessels coordinated their attack. Every ship fired at once. Energy beams, missiles, kinetic weapons, and quantum shots all converged on the core vessel. For a moment, the Devourer ship's shields held. Then they collapsed under the overwhelming firepower. The core vessel exploded in a burst of organic material. Immediately, the other Devourer ships stopped moving. They drifted in space, confused and directionless. Without the hive mind to guide them, they were just animals lost in the dark. "Cease fire," Taeyang ordered. "Let them retreat." We made our point. Slowly, the surviving Devourer vessels turned and fled back into deep space. The battle was over, but the victory came with a price. Threshkal colony was heavily damaged. Thousands had died before the fleet arrived. The planet's atmosphere would take decades to recover. And this was just one attack. If the Devourers were truly returning, there would be more. On the Council flagship, Vexthar gathered his fellow leaders. They had just witnessed something they had never seen before. Humans and Council forces fighting together as equals. Not master and servant. Not conqueror and conquered. Partners. "We came to Earth to humble them," Vexthar said quietly. "Instead, they humbled us. Not through conquest, but through principle. They could have destroyed us. Instead, they saved us." Krath nodded, respect clear in his posture. The Drell judged strength through combat. "Today we learned that humans understand combat better than any species we have met. But more importantly, they understand mercy. That is true strength." Clix clicked thoughtfully. "We must acknowledge our error. The question is, what do we do now?" Ambassador Junho was brought back to the Council chamber. This time a chair was waiting for him. "An equal seat among equals," Vexthar spoke formally. "Ambassador Junho, the Galactic Council was wrong. We judged you by our fears rather than your actions. We demanded surrender. You offered partnership. We threatened destruction. You provided salvation. On behalf of all 23 member species, I apologize." Junho bowed slightly. "I accept your apology. But apologies alone will not stop the Devourers. They will return in greater numbers. Next time, we must be ready together." "You wish to join the Council?" Vexthar asked. 3 months passed after Earth joined the Galactic Council. 3 months that changed everything. The first week was difficult. Many Council species did not want to accept humans as equals. They remembered the humiliation of having their fleet paralyzed. They resented taking orders from Admiral Taeyang during the battle. Old pride dies slowly, but the Devourers did not care about pride. 2 more Council worlds came under attack, then 4, then 7. Each time, the pattern was the same. Massive, organic ships appeared from deep space, consumed everything they could, then vanished before reinforcements arrived. They were testing defenses, learning patterns, growing stronger. Captain Hyun stood on the observation deck of Sanctuary 7, which had been transformed into headquarters for the Joint Defense Initiative. The station now housed both human and Council personnel. Engineers from a dozen species worked together in the lower levels. Pilots from Earth trained alongside Drell warriors. Scientists like Dr. Sora shared laboratories with Council researchers. Commander Krath joined her at the window. The massive wolf-like warrior moved quietly despite his size. "Your people adapt quickly, Captain. 3 months ago, most of my warriors had never met a human. Now they train together like old comrades." "Fear is a powerful teacher," Hyun replied. "The Devourers do not care about our differences. That makes cooperation easy." "Is that why humans smile?" Krath asked. "Because fear teaches you?" Hyun considered the question. "We smile because despair is heavier than hope. When we were divided, fighting each other, we nearly destroyed ourselves many times. Nuclear war, climate collapse, biological weapons. Each time we stood at the edge of extinction. Each time someone smiled and said, 'We can do better than this.' That smile, that refusal to give up, saved us." "Your species is strange," Krath said, but there was respect in his voice. "The Drell face death with roars and battle cries. Humans face it with smiles. I am not sure which is stranger." An alarm interrupted their conversation. The display showed new reports from the outer rim. 3 Devourer swarms had been detected moving toward Council space. Each swarm contained over 50 vessels. This was not a raid. This was an invasion. "All senior staff to the command center," Hyun ordered. She looked at Krath. Time to see if our training was worth it. In the command center, Admiral Taiyang studied tactical displays with Vexthar and other council leaders. The cooperation was better now, but still awkward. Thousands of years of habit did not change in 3 months. 3 swarms, 3 different vectors, Taiyang said. They are forcing us to split our forces. Classic divide and conquer strategy. We do not have enough ships to stop all 3, Vexthar said. His crystal body pulsed with worried light. We must choose which colonies to defend and which to abandon. No. Ambassador Junho entered the room carrying a data pad. We do not abandon anyone. We are smarter than that. He displayed new information. Chief Engineer Jinwoo had been busy. Working with council technicians, he had modified hundreds of civilian ships. Cargo vessels, mining ships, even luxury cruise liners. Each one now carried Phoenix weapon systems. Any ship can be a warship if you give it the right tools, Jinwoo explained from his lab on Earth. The Council has tens of thousands of civilian vessels. We have converted 5,000 so far. Not as powerful as military ships, but enough to make the Devourers think twice. Director Minji added her report. Our intelligence shows the Devourers are not as coordinated as we thought. The swarms communicate but slowly. If we can disrupt their signals, they become confused. I have a plan. She outlined a strategy that combined human electronic warfare with Council weapons technology. They would jam the Devourers' communications, creating chaos, then hit hard with quantum weapons while they were disorganized. It is risky, Vexthar said. If the jamming fails, we will be fighting blind against an enemy that can adapt. Everything is risky, Taiyang replied. War is risk. The question is whether we take smart risks or foolish ones. This is smart. The council leaders looked at each other. They were still learning to trust human judgment, still adjusting to having partners who questioned their decisions instead of following orders blindly. Click spoke up. The insect alien had become an unexpected voice of support for human methods. I have studied Earth's history. They have made terrible mistakes, yes. But they learned from those mistakes in ways we never did. Perhaps it is time we learned from them. The vote passed. The defense plan was approved. 3 battle groups formed. Each one combined council military power with human tactical innovation. Admiral Taiyang commanded the central group. Commander Krath led the northern force. A council. Admiral named Voresh led the southern group, with Captain Hyun as his tactical advisor. Remember, Taiyang said in the final briefing, we are not trying to destroy them all. We are sending a message. The galaxy is defended, we are united, and we will not be consumed without a fight. The battles began simultaneously across 3 sectors. In the northern sector, Krath led his Drell warriors in close combat supported by human fighter wings. The Drell fought with ferocious courage, but now they used human tactics. Hit and run, misdirection, coordinated strikes instead of individual glory. This is more satisfying than I expected, Krath growled as his ship destroyed another Devourer vessel. Fighting smart is harder than fighting strong. I understand now why humans are so dangerous. You think during battle, not just react. In the southern sector, Captain Hyun coordinated the defense from Admiral Varesh's flagship. The old council admiral had been skeptical of human methods, but he followed Hyun's tactical suggestions. When she recommended a feint that drew the Devourers into a trap, he trusted her. The trap worked perfectly. Captain Hyun, Varesh said, after the battle, I have commanded fleets for 200 years. I thought I knew everything about space combat. You have taught me that I knew nothing. Thank you. Hyun smiled. You knew how to fight 1,000 years ago. I just showed you how we fight now. Together, we know both. In the central sector, Admiral Taiyang faced the largest Devourer swarm. This was where the test would really happen. Director Minji activated her jamming systems. Immediately, the Devourer swarm became disorganized. Ships drifted. Some fired on each other. Some fled in random directions. Now, Taiyang ordered. All ships maximum firepower. The combined fleet struck. Council energy weapons and human quantum cannons fired together. Phoenix platforms targeted core vessels while conventional ships handled the smaller craft. The battle was fierce but short. When the jamming cleared, half the Devourer swarm was destroyed and the rest were retreating. But victory came with a discovery. As the Devourers fled, sensors picked up something strange. Energy signatures from deep space, massive readings. Hundreds of them. Dr. Sora analyzed the data from Earth. Her face appeared on the command display, and for the first time, she looked worried. "Admiral, those readings are more Devourer swarms. Dozens of them. What we just fought was not an invasion. It was a scouting party." Silence filled the command center. Everyone understood what that meant. The real attack was still coming, and it would be larger than anything they had faced before. Vexthar sat down heavily. "Then we have failed. We cannot stop dozens of swarms. Even with human weapons and tactics, we do not have enough ships. Maybe we do not need to stop them," Junho said quietly. "Maybe we need to talk to them." Everyone stared at him. Krath laughed, a harsh barking sound. "Talk to them? They consume everything. They do not negotiate." "Every species talks," Junho insisted. "Maybe not with words, but they communicate somehow. They coordinate. That means intelligence, and intelligence means they can make choices." "It is insane," Varesh said. "So was standing up to the entire council fleet," Hyun pointed out. "That worked out pretty well." Admiral Taeyang considered the idea. "If we could establish communication, we might learn why they attack. Everything has a reason. Even hunger can be negotiated." Over the next week, Dr. Sora and council scientists worked together on the problem. They analyzed Devourer communication patterns, studied their behavior, built a translation matrix. It was probably impossible. But humans had a talent for achieving impossible things. The breakthrough came from an unexpected place. A young council, scientist named Rena, working with a human engineer named Borum, discovered that Devourer ships resonated at specific frequencies. These resonances matched patterns in their attack behavior. It was not language in any traditional sense, but it was communication. They built a device that could mimic those resonances, a way to speak in frequency rather than words. "It might work," Sora said, though she sounded doubtful, "or it might just make them angry. We will not know until we try." Ambassador Junho volunteered to make contact. Admiral Taeyang tried to forbid it, but Junho insisted. "This is what diplomats do. We take risks that soldiers cannot." A single ship flew into deep space, far beyond council territory. It carried Junho, Dr. Sora, Rena, and Borum, a small crew on a suicide mission. They found a Devourer swarm waiting at the edge of known space. Hundreds of organic ships, each one capable of destroying planets. Borum activated the resonance device. It sent out patterns, frequencies that mimicked Devourer communication. The message was simple. "We want to talk." For long minutes, nothing happened. Then the swarm moved, not to attack,